Hey, what's going on, ladies and gents? How are you people doing here? Back again with some more football content here. And, one of the biggest mysteries that has always surrounded me in football, especially from the past, was what if Yugoslavia never broke up in the 90s? Now, first of all, this is not going to be a political debate video. That's not what I'm going to talk about. What I'm talking about is from the football aspect of the breakup of Yugoslavia, not really like the whole political aspect of that, because I guess it's kind of a very sensitive topic to talk about. But as you people know, you look at players like Luka Modric, Mitrovic, Josip Illicic, and one thing those football players have in common, despite them, playing at the top of their game at some point, and especially players like Njeko, Goran Pandev, and all that, is that they all, come from ex-Yugo countries, and the thing that makes those players really good is that what if Yugoslavia still was a footballing nation today, meaning that if Yugoslavia never broke up, what if they won a World Cup already or no? Because as you people know, the most successful ex-Yugo nation to come out to come out on top in football in recent years would have to be Croatia, especially the way how they performed at the 2018 World Cup. Them being the first ex-Yugo nation to reach a World Cup final was really incredible to see. And it got me thinking, because as you people know, after the Second World War concluded, Yugoslavia was formed, and it was a nation from 1945 all the way up until 1992, which was, I think, the year that became the part that led to the decline of, Yugoslavia, much like how the Soviet Union broke up in the 90s and all that stuff. But I guess I'll talk about the Soviet Union and in another video and all that. And I'm talking about mainly the Soviet Union football team. I probably will do a video on that sometime. But today, man, this is about Yugoslavia, because when it comes to the Yugoslavia national team, when it comes to them competing in World Cups, the best results they had was in 1930 and in 1962, when they each finished fourth, I believe. And for the Euros, their best results came in 1960 and 1968, when in 1960, Yugoslavia lost the Euro Cup final to the Soviet Union, I believe, and then in 1968 they lost to Italy. So obviously, looking at the Yugoslavia national team, we always were told about how incredible teams like Brazil, Argentina, England, Germany, and Portugal, I guess, Portugal, they were also a team that had their golden generation. But I feel like nobody ever really talks about Yugoslavia and the potential it had as a I feel like as a footballing nation, because obviously, I always thought to myself, what if Luka Modric, Illicic, Mitrovic, Milenkovic, Savic, Pandev, Oblak, can't forget about him, what if all those players were still representing Yugoslavia today? Would Yugoslavia have won the World Cup or no? Because if there's one thing about the Balkans and the ex-Yugo nations that, I was always fascinated about, was them being able to produce football talent consistently. Because obviously, when it comes to the Balkans in general, they always have a really incredible track record of producing some of the best footballing players, like, like Suker, Modric, Illicic, etc., etc. And I thought to myself that if only maybe that if they still were playing for Yugoslavia today, in the 21st century, then I think that Yugoslavia by now would have already won a World Cup. Because obviously, at this year's World Cup, the two ex-Yugo nations are going to be Croatia and Serbia, and it's going to be interesting who goes further, Croatia or Serbia on the other hand. But Croatia, they've got that World Cup experience, while Serbia on the other hand, they also have that World Cup experience, but I guess you could say they haven't been as good and or as consistent in the past World Cups like how Croatia was. So obviously Croatia, they are the most successful ex-Yugo nation in football, and I definitely think it would be incredibly fun to see, once again, an ex-Yugo nation, either Croatia or Serbia, make it to a World Cup final like how Croatia did. Because as you people know, in 1998, Croatia, they also were a good team too. When they had the legend himself in Suker, they made it, I think, to third place in the 1998 World Cup. Yeah, I believe it was third place. And, I always just started, watching past highlights of players like Suker and, and all the ex-Yugo players, that it makes you go, wow, those players, if Yugoslavia was still a footballing nation in 2022, I'm pretty sure that by now Yugoslavia would have won at least one or two World Cups. I think nobody can dispute that. And that's going to be one of the biggest mysteries in football, was what if Yugoslavia was still a football footballing nation today, because as you people know, Serbia, they are considered to be the successor of the Yugoslavia national team. And, I guess you could say that ever since Yugoslavia broke up, ever since, I guess, Serbia was the successor for the Yugoslavia national team, because obviously FIFA considers Serbia to be the successor of the Yugoslavia national team, since, I believe that it's mainly because of the fact that during when Yugoslavia was still a nation, I believe that Belgrade was the capital of Yugoslavia, and I guess that's the reason why FIFA considers Serbia to be the successor of the Yugoslavia national team and all that stuff. But yeah, I just had to come on here and make this quick video because, if you're an old school football fan like me and, you were around during the times to witness, Yugoslavia play football, then it makes you realize right now probably that, wow, Yugoslavia back then, they had a really good team in the 20th century, especially like in the 60s. I personally would have to argue that the 1960s was the best, the most successful, I guess, potential period for the Yugoslavia national team and all that stuff. But yeah, just had to come out and make this video because obviously, looking at all those players that I've mentioned, it makes you wonder that Yugoslavia, they probably would have won a World Cup right now if it was still a footballing nation. But, obviously the nations of Serbia and Croatia, them being the only ex-Yugo nations at the World Cup, which nation will go first? Let me know in the comment section below. But yeah, just had to come on here and make this quick video here. So hope you guys enjoyed this video.